Hello and welcome. My name's David Kerr and I'm Consultant Director of Education at the NGO Young Citizens, which is based in London in the UK. Welcome to the first of a series of 4 videos looking at teaching controversial issues in the classroom. In this video we're going to start by answering 3 simple key questions. First, what are controversial issues? Second, why is it important to teach controversial issues? And third, what are the key challenges for teaching controversial issues in the classroom? Because having answers to these key questions makes it much easier to teach controversial issues in the classroom and help to train others. So let's begin. First, what are controversial issues? Well, think of a controversial issue in society. It can be anything. Next, think about what makes that issue controversial. Is it the issue itself? Is it what different people think about it? Is it how it's presented in the media? Or is it all these things and more? And this just gives you an example here of a quick controversial issue. This is a climate change protest picture from a climate change protest in London. And what perhaps makes this issue controversial is not just the issue itself, but the fact you've actually got a young child attending this demonstration. So it became controversial issue, and there was a picture in the news in the UK. But having worked with teachers and trainers in many countries across Europe, we came up with a useful definition that's been widely accepted as to what controversial issues may be defined as. And this is it. These are issues that arouse strong feelings and divide opinion in communities and society. They can be local or global, from mosque building to reducing the impacts of climate change. Some are long-standing, and others are very recent, such as the Islamic radicalization of youth in Europe. It's taken place over the last decade, or even more recently, the Black Lives Matter movement. They can also vary with time and place. Crucifixes in schools, for example, may be highly contentious in one country, but accepted as part of life in another. And the same with the wearing of Islamic headscarves, for example. Okay, in one country, very controversial in another. And any topic can become controversial at any time, because new controversies arise every day. So now you've got a clear idea of what we mean by controversial issues, which is very helpful. This leads us to our second question: why is it important to teach them? This is a quote from a report in England that puts citizenship into the national curriculum, and it sums it up. We can't avoid controversies in life, and therefore we need to educate children about them. And this is linked to what are known as product-based justifications for why you teach controversial issues. They're all over society. You pick up a newspaper, you turn on the news, there's always controversies wherever you look. And therefore we have to find ways to talk to each other, to find solutions without resorting to violence, and that means pupils have to learn to deal with controversy in their everyday lives. And they do this by learning about it, not by avoiding it. The second set of justifications are what are known as process-based justifications. And this is around the idea that students need to develop the competencies, the civic attitudes and behaviours to deal with controversial issues and to live in society. Discussion, language, communication, thinking and evaluation, and also civic and political interest. The values that support democracy, they learn to engage in it, and they have an interest in public affairs. So why might teachers be reluctant to take on controversial issues? Well, there's a whole range of quotes there that might sum it up. I'll lose control. I don't know how to do it. I don't know enough about the issue. I'm frightened what one of the kids might say. I'm not sure about my own views. I'd just be reinforcing the prejudices of kids. Well, research suggests that experienced teachers are concerned about 5 things, and you might want to think about this in relation to teacher students as well. The first thing they're concerned about is the role of the teacher, the teaching style. What stance should they take on a controversial issue? Because it's about attitudes and opinions, and nothing is neutral. And therefore they've got a particular concern about being criticised for what they say about an issue, or being seen to be biased. The second concern is about protecting student sensitivities. We all know if you start discussing controversial issues in a classroom, it can impact negatively on students' emotions or sense of self-esteem. There's a danger that opinions and attitudes expressed can get out of control and lead to some students feeling offended, harassed or marginalised by other students, or the teacher causing hostilities and divisions in the classroom that can then spill out beyond the classroom into the playground and then out beyond the school into homes, and then you get lots of complaints coming back into the school. The third one is classroom climate and control. How do you create a safe learning environment that ensures that discussions don't become overheated, with people shouting and storming out? Or the other side of the coin is they become underheated. You just have a wall of apathy. No one wants to say anything amongst the students for fear of upsetting others or making their views public. So how do teachers develop strategies to stop it overheating, but also to stop things underheating? The fourth one is a lack of expert knowledge on issues. Controversial issues are often complex, and they make demands on teacher knowledge not usually experienced in other parts of the curriculum. And this is a particular challenge when controversial issues are very recent and still being debated in society. And this lack of expert knowledge can be disconcerting for teachers who are used to being seen as the experts and looked up to by students. Then the fifth one is teaching style. How do you deal with students' spontaneous questions and remarks on controversial issues? It's impossible to decide what students are actually going to say, but how do you actually respond to that? And then a final one, how do you fit it in? How long should you allow a discussion on controversial issues to go on for? And when should you actually draw the line? So, having reviewed these major challenges, we recognise there's no simple answer to addressing them. It varies from one class or group of students to another. However, what is recognised is the importance of training teachers and providing with a range of methods and strategies that they can use in the classroom to tackle these challenges when they arise. It's then up to the teacher to use his or her professional judgment, considering the sensitivity of context and flexibility of response, to decide what works best, why, when and how. So I hope you now feel that you having clearer answers concerning what are controversial issues, why it's important to teach them, and what are the key challenges for teaching them. Armed with this information, you feel more confident in teaching controversial issues and sharing your learning and experience with others to help them. Thank you very much, and good luck with that sharing of your learning and experience. Take care. Bye.